Our next speaker, James Barnes, he's a creative technologist and application builder with experience from companies like Meta and various startups. And he's currently building a fascinating application called Etheria. And some of you might have experienced it in the back. But he will do a better justification for what he's building. So please help me welcome James Barnes.
All right, my name is James, and I am the founder of Etheria, which is a visual radio and much more. And so I'm excited to tell you about this tool we've built with LivePeer and Daydream to create personalized visualizations for your music that's styled by your voice and the best radio stations in the world. And then talk about how this process has led me to understand more about the power of expression and how it can connect us all together, help us understand each other, and create a better world. So this is Etheria. It's a visual radio. In this video, you can see I'm starting to talk to a microphone. Some of you were able to do that over there. This is very blurry. What's going on over here? All right. Well, as I talk, all of my speech is turned into prompts, which are then illustrated like these monarch butterflies, as an example, through the lens of like 20 different radio stations, like this one, which is very ambient music, all of which have distinct visual styles. It's really an incredible way to be able to access these incredible technologies that we've seen today just with the power of your voice. And I kind of had a very odd path towards developing this technology, and this path has been very important towards giving me the mission that I have to help people access their own expression using technology. In 2016, I was the Facebook employee who worked with the Trump campaign as a part of the political ads team. I also was the first person to notice something was going on with Cambridge Analytica. This led me through a long period of time full of depositions and a lot of public interest. I ended up starting a super PAC to fight Trump and joining the elections, helping start the elections integrity team at Facebook. And I had joined Facebook to give people a voice. Yet when I left, really sad and depressed, and not really knowing like where all of this energy that I'd put into this time of my life had gone, I realized that I'd done the exact opposite of that. I in many ways robbed people of their voice. And so as I started to realize the craziness of this life story and started to come to terms with some of the impact that I'd had, I built an app to make sense of my story. It's called Autobiographer. You can access it in the App Store. And it interviews you about your life and helps you write your life story. You can get a PDF that's an autobiography, as if an expert biographer had just written about you. And I finished working on that project about last year. In working on this, I had started to wonder, like, what if when I was doing these interviews, what if something more dynamic was happening? What if I could see the sort of emotion and the memories and the timbre of my voice reflected in the visuals rather than just seeing a black screen. And so as I stopped working on Autobiographer, I attended a festival that my friends put on called Calling All Magical People, and built a prototype of using the Touch Designer Stream Diffusion, so it's completely enabled by this community, that would enable my friends at this festival to do exactly that, to speak and then have their words animated on the screen. This was on a laptop, just running a consumer GPU. And in this particular case, I don't even think we bought a microphone system, so our friends, the DJs, were going off stage and like ducking down to scream at the laptop to change the visuals. And even then, when it was just super janky, it was a huge hit. People really, really loved what we were doing. And I continued to just like take this thing to more and more places, including all the way in December here in San Francisco. Was invited to bring it to Anthropic headquarters to demonstrate it to the team, who said we were giving Claude a paintbrush. The way that this software worked was I would speak in real time, as you saw in that demo video. Claude would take the transcription and turn it into a prompt, and that prompt would feed stream diffusion. And what we found there was that you could really have these incredible worlds that Claude could maintain. It could maintain this really like multi-dimensional model of like, okay, can you, I want a cat in this picture. Oh, can you add a dog? And so on. I found, as I started to bring this software as it evolved around Brooklyn, many, many fans, including those at Anthropic. But the one that was the most unexpected was this 5-year-old girl named Ela. And I'm going to play a video of her. I'm not sure if the audio will play, but well, so Ela is pointing at the wall and she's screaming, "I told the projector what to make and it showed." I told the projector what to make and it showed, and she's saying, "Put lava on the hill," and then there's lava on the hill. Ela walked into the room at a Diwali party that I was showing at and picked up the microphone without any prompting. And eventually, she just started giving us a glimpse of her world. And this was another thing that showed me the thing that I was working on, which is you speak, your words are animated, and other people see, is really, really powerful. So fast forward to last month, my friend Gonzo and I, who was sitting in the front row, we went to this festival called Experts Only Festival on Randall's Island in New York City that 50,000 people went to. These floors that people are laying on are vibroacoustic. We called it Sound Temple. Gonzo had been working on this before, and I was so honored to be able to join up with him. And so people were laying on this bed that he built, hearing the music in their body and starting to speak and animating the geodesic dome above them. And you can see people are having a blast. We were projecting into the dome. People could pass around the microphone. They were hearing the music, they were feeling the music, and they were speaking what it brought to life. And so this was really moving, I think. Outside was chaos. But inside, it was the chaos of a music festival. Inside, we had this place of peace and of presence and of connection, and it was amazing. And particularly, one thing that I will never forget that really started to speak to me in this crazy way was one woman at this festival who took the microphone and started to talk about her sister, who had passed away recently. And how her favorite bird was the hummingbird. And as she said this, the inside of the dome lit up, the outside of the dome lit up with this hummingbird. And everybody around her was completely in the presence of her grief. She externalized her memory and her emotion and her feelings to everyone. And in this moment, even people who had no idea what the context was were still in this field of expression that she had created. And this was, it was healing to me just thinking about it, and it felt enormously healing towards her. And it reminded me of an experience I'd had with an ex-girlfriend who was describing a really challenging health experience that she'd had, not knowing, and I think I'd forgotten that I had a lapel mic on and it was animating at the party behind us. And she was telling a story through this art that she was creating with her words to this entire party. And was so moved by this experience and brought everybody else along. And through this experience, through going from working at this company and enabling these, being a part of these things that ended up being pretty destructive, and then, like trying to find a way to articulate it, and then creating this application to describe it, and watching, with autobiographer people like my mother, reach out to like childhood bullies because she was finally able to find the words that she needed to express the thing that was inside of her. I realized that expression, and maybe this is obvious, it's not quite obvious to me, expression is key to understanding, right? If we can't express ourselves, then other people can't understand us. And if they can't understand us, they might make assumptions, they might not even think about us at all. But it's really important that we're able to express. Yet, many people, most people, have vastly different faculties of expression. It's really, I think over time, the human capacity to express ourselves has evolved as our tools have evolved, right? We've gotten writing, and then, photography, and the printing press, and painting, and so on. And we, as a society, have advanced, and yet we still have many people who don't have the capacity to express themselves at all. Which leads me to my friend Rachel. So when I was 16 years old, I was a congressional page working in the US Congress, which meant that I worked on the floor of the House of Representatives, and I got to go to school in the Library of Congress. And every morning at 6:45 a.m., I would watch the sunrise over the Capitol, and that was a really formative experience. And I met all of these amazing people, including the woman who's pictured here, Rachel Romer, who 2 years ago, right before I went to Burning Man, had a stroke. And all of a sudden, this woman who had built a billion-dollar company, who I'd met when I was a page on her own, who had, had twins who needed daycare and decided to open up a daycare for all of her employees, somebody who had been able to express herself through her work, somebody who was often on panels, somebody who had given me so much advice, somebody who had been so central to my own path, could no longer express herself in any way. She was in a coma for a while. Right before I went to the burn, she got out of the coma. Suddenly I was seeing this person who had been a total superhero to me, and she just couldn't express herself anymore at all. Thankfully, 2 years later, she's doing really well. A couple months ago, I was spending some time with her at Johns Hopkins University, where she is patient zero in a lot of clinical trials that are using cutting-edge technology to help her regain all of her faculties and get back on her feet, both figuratively and literally. And she saw the technology that I was just showing you before that had moved people at music festivals, that had been so intuitive to a 5-year-old, that had just been a hit everywhere that I took it. And she said, "Did you know that like 40% of people who have strokes lose the ability to talk? I think that this could help them learn to speak again." This feedback loop between I say something, something happens, I can add to it, other people can add to it. We're in each other's presence, and we can all share this collective imagination. I think this maybe could help people learn to speak again. And so I had never even considered that. This was a tool that I, in many ways, used to metabolize my grief over, this crazy career and losing my company and so on. And I thought about it as just something really fun that helped me connect with the people around me. And now I'm learning, oh my gosh, this thing could really be helpful to a lot of people. So I started spending a lot of time with her at Hopkins and started to get to know her team. And they all agreed. They said, "Holy shit, this is amazing." I had emails in all caps. Their team was even suggesting to me, "Have you ever considered measuring people's response to this when they're on psychedelics? Wait, could you put sensors in people? Could we connect a Muse or an EEG or an fMRI to somebody while they're doing this? And could it be even beyond language?" My wish list of sort of futurist nerd inventor is now being raised to me by these really serious people. And I put this worksheet here because it reminded me of when we're building things, we forget sometimes how low the bar is, and so many things that could be really helpful to people if given the right technology. And in this case, this worksheet is the state of the art. It's the gold standard for speech therapy. It's called semantic categorization, and it's simply you name a fruit or you name an item. So here's an apple. An apple is a fruit. It is used for eating. it is red or maybe green. And I ended up building like a module inside of Ethereum just to go through this exercise to send to the team to say, wow, I think there's really something here, because the thing that I learned about aphasia and about recovery from any neurological trauma is that it just requires a lot of practice, and most of that practice is alone, and most of that practice is not very fun, and it's with, caregivers who don't have a ton of energy. And so we started to think, wow, if you could have this like really dynamic, immersive experience, perhaps that could be really effective. And so I'm excited to share that we're entering into early work for like a clinical trial at Hopkins to use Etheria, this like sort of speech to visualization to more effectively cure aphasia from strokes, which is really exciting. So then I started thinking about expression generally as this bigger problem. If like I'm thinking about like the very, very ground zero, right, which is that like here are people who like have had a stroke, they can't speak, and they're learning to speak again. Who are some other people who are like having a challenging time expressing themselves that could be served by such a product? Obviously, like I'm a burner that's emerged in the music festival scene. Like psychedelics are top of mind. Friends are in the industry starting to think about ketamine therapy, especially as I learned that ketamine as an industry was $500 million last year. By 2033, it's expected to be $6 billion. That's like a 12-fold increase like in 8 years. Crazy, crazy growth. Yet in the same time, the supply of therapists is only expected to grow 1% to 3% annually. And in any psychedelic journey, if you've been on them, one of the most important things, especially in the 24 to 48 hours after the journey, when you're the most neuroplastic, is to be able to describe and feel like validated that somebody else sees, or that you're able to even effectively like elaborate on what you saw and what you learned on that journey. And so I started to talk to friends who. A friend who's an art therapist who works with one of the top ketamine clinics in the world and does integration therapy, started to talk to friends in the industry, and the feedback was resounding. Like, holy shit, yes, this is amazing. Like, this is a really great. The bar is pretty low here. There's not like a lot of great tools, and be able to just like speak and have fun and listen to music with your friends. And share these things in this way is very healing. So we're really excited to share that we're extending upon the visual radio. And the visual radio, by the way, I'll have a link to join the waitlist. We'll have it ready, hopefully, in the coming months. There's still a little bit more work to do there. Are starting to work with Hopkins and the stroke recovery lab there. As well as this group of like ketamine clinics across the country to develop the Imagination Guide, which is like an AI agent dedicated to amplifying expression and connection. So if you think about what is over there and what we've been showing you today with Ethereum, and you imagine having like a voice guide walking you through it that's HIPAA compliant and that's grounded in best practices and clinical procedures. It's really, I think, a great opportunity. We've been talking about it kind of like an AI art therapist. So we'll be launching that next year. And we're doing I'll be headed back to Hopkins soon to continue to learn about the aphasia requirements and have an event planned in New York City in the second week of December with one of the top ketamine clinics in the world, with a lot of their partner therapists, where we're going to get a lot of their requirements as well. And so we're hoping to both like square these two use cases and then build something that's more broadly applicable. So it's for anybody who wants to be able to express themselves in a visual, artistic way, they can do that, and that's really exciting. And I'm going to. We've just like shipped a version of the visual radio on the phone, which I thought could be fun to demonstrate here. So is anybody interested in talking about their hometown on stage with me right now? Raise your hand. All right, this gentleman. Please. All right. All right, 1 second. Hi there. Yeah, 1 sec. All right. Yeah. Let's give this one more shot. Fantastic. All right, looks like technical difficulties have gotten the best of us today, unfortunately. Thank you so much, though. It's been a strange vortex of a technology day today. So we will be opening up the wait list for visual radio. And so if anybody's interested in joining it, please scan that QR code and add your email address. I'll be in touch very shortly. We're going to be opening up to alpha and beta testers, hopefully on a day where the technology gods are looking upon us a little bit more kindly. In summary, I'd really love to thank Live here and Daydream, as well as Lyle and the Stream Diffusion team and everybody who has put so much effort into making this technology so easily available. I was walking around Brooklyn with one GPU on my laptop, and on a normal day, I'm able to share this one with a lot more people because of the amazing work that y'all have done to make this so accessible. And I think, by being able to put this in people's living rooms and in their homes and making it so easy to control just with your voice, we're going to be able to give a lot of people the ability to connect and be present and heal together. And that's just a total testament to the folks in this room. So thank you so much, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thanks.